We're back out here at the Big Lake once again, and today we're talking about the one lure that turned a grind of a day into an absolute fishing bonanza. I'm going to give up all the juice on how I worked it and why it was so successful. Stick around, you don't want to miss this one. They're going nuts, and so am I. All right, let me see if I can get some ready. Got him. Oh, he feels good. And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and as we've said here on the channel recently, in the fall time especially, oh what a difference just a couple of days can make. A few days ago, it was literally freezing. I had frost on my truck, but today, 84 degrees, sunny skies, and that's typical for this time of year, although the freezing part really isn't. I knew today would be a really good day to come out and do some fishing, and I had the usual suspects tied on. Wacky rig, jig, soft plastic stick bait, Texas rigged, flukes, things like that. But those weren't really getting it done. And I was kind of surprised by that. They didn't want any of that. Now, I was able to catch a couple of fish on the soft plastic jerk bait. And, I was kind of surprised they didn't really want it more. So I actually went over to a hard jerk bait, caught a couple of fish on that. But it was still a grind. I'd been out here 3 or 4 hours and still only had 2 or 3 fish in the boat. It was really a grind. And that's when I noticed those bass, well, they were chasing schools of bait fish. I didn't see them busting as much as I saw the school race under my boat being chased by some bass. And I noticed that those bait fish, they were kind of small. They looked more like minnows than shad. They were just really small. So I decided to change things up just a little bit. I brought out the old friend of the channel, the Boy Howdy. And this is the spinner variety. This is the topwater that's got the spinner variety on it. And on the very, very first cast, well, I got a really nice blow up that ended in a really nice fish. All right, we've got the old white with the black back, gray back Boy Howdy, bladed Boy Howdy tied on. And we have been seeing them bust up everywhere through here, so I had the darker frog-colored devil's horse tied on. I got slapped at a couple of times, but I'm going to go with something a little bit brighter, I think. I may go with that bone color. Got him! Oh yeah, that's nice. That's a nice fish, kids. Oh, that's a good fish. Come on, stay up. He went after it too. Oh, that's a good fish right there. Whew. All right, well, that makes a difference, didn't it? All right, little buddy, we sure do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoops, he bumped his head going down. Oh well, let's go get another one. So, first cast ended up with a nice fish, but as those bass were chasing those minnows, they began busting up all over the place. They'd be in one spot, then they'd be in another spot. Everything was really on the move. So that Boy Howdy, while I caught a really nice bass, close to 3 pounds on the very first cast, it wasn't fast enough to do what I needed it to do. So that's when I changed up and I went to this guy right here, the old Bone Spook Jr. This I was able to work across fairly quickly and able to keep up with how those bass were moving. And I'm telling you what, from the get-go, that's when the floodgates opened. All right, we've got this bone-colored spook tied on, and we're going to work it out here because I am seeing a whole bunch of action. Got him. First cast. Oh, that one doesn't feel bad, kids. That one doesn't feel bad. You're not going anywhere, buddy. You are not going anywhere. Ooh, I had him by one hook. One hook. Ah. All right, there we go, buddy. Beautiful, gorgeous bass. Thank you for playing. All right, let's go get the next one. I caught so many topwater bass today. You know, I caught 3, I think, that weren't topwater, and then I caught so many bass after that. I don't know how many fish I caught. I've just now come off of the lake, and when I get back to the office and I review the video footage, I'll have to count and see how many fish I caught. I don't know. I caught so many. And it was surprising, right? You wouldn't think that a little Spook Junior, this time of year, early November, those temperatures really cooler than they ought to be, right? For most of the country, you wouldn't think that the topwater would be such a deal that it is. But for a lot of the country, you can still do really, really good on various types of topwaters. You know, a spook, a wake bait, a buzz bait. You know, I'm hearing that a lot of guys are even still doing good on a frog. So don't sleep on the topwater just yet. There's still a little bit life in it. And even deep into the winter, you know, if you know where those bass are and you know where they're warming up, you know you can use topwater on them sometimes. So even all through the winter, you can still get a good topwater bite on some of those days. And today was a day for it. I'm telling you what, I did not take this rod out of my hand all day once those bass started blasting it over and over and over again. They're going nuts. And so am I. All right, let me see if I can get somebody to... Got him. Oh, he feels good. Oh, he's... Get my camera down just a little bit. Golly. Oh my God. He's not a tank, but he sure felt good. Oh, he's a... Look at that butterball. Look at that guy. He wasn't going nowhere. Topwater is the deal today, kids. I'm telling you what. Topwater is the deal. Appreciate it, buddy. And, you know, this is the reel that replaced the old Silver Max. 30-pound braid. You know that at this point. 7.1 to 1 gear ratio. I've got a 17-pound fluorocarbon leader, you know. And I got this little bobber stop here. And what this little bobber stop does, obviously, sometimes I want to trade this out for a Texas rig on this particular setup. But what I also like to do is I also like to slide it up here on some of my topwaters or even a jerkbait. And that keeps this front hook from getting boogered up in this, as they are prone to do. A prop style bait or a jerkbait style bait, you know, sometimes that hook will get boogered up and catch the line right there. I think that, you know, a weight stop right there, that seems to really limit that for the most part. But we're going to go out on the water and I'm going to show you. I mean, if I show you every fish catch that I got today, we would be out here all night. And while that would be fun for me, you may not get a lot out of it. What we are going to do is I'm going to go on the water and I'm going to show you in detail how I was working that bait and why it was so effective, especially today. So let's head out on the water and I'll show you just exactly what I was doing. All right, and the Spook Fest keeps right on. We have been just destroying them on this spook today. And all I'm doing is gentle twitches, just gentle twitches. Barely flicking my wrist. And if you've not fished a spook, it does take a little bit of practice to get that cadence down of the cranking and the twitching. But it doesn't take that long. And once you get it down, you can really work that bait. You can do fast, you know, jerking motions, or you can do slow, wide motions, give them pauses. The trick is you want to keep the tip of your rod down. That's where you're going to get the best gliding motion, is keeping the tip of your rod down toward the water. And just give it gentle little pops. So you can see if you're doing it too much or too little. Not that hard. And today I'm just kind of working it a little bit. I'm doing kind of wide, glidey movements with it. I'm not working it too fast. Working in some pauses here and there. And we've got some wind. We've got some good bit of chop. But we've also had periods of no wind too, where we've had slick, calm conditions. And just easy does it, you know. I mean, between this and the boy howdy, we have just been obliterating. Oh, yeah. So even on the demonstration of me showing you how I'm working that bait, I get a blow up, you know. I ended up missing that fish, and I tried to follow it up with a jerk bait and never did catch that fish, but it shows you how amped up, how jacked up those bass were for that spook today. That's what they wanted, and they absolutely destroyed it over and over again. Now, the reasoning behind it is because where I was fishing today was one large shallow flat. It's only a couple of feet deep in there, and because it's so shallow, the water warms up really, really quickly. We've had a couple of days where the sky has been cloudless, and we've had the sun beating down on that water. It's warmed it up quite a bit. That's given those fish a good bit of energy, and before the freeze sets in, and you know, our area, just the slightly cold weather sets in, those bass are wanting to feed up. They know what time it is. They know exactly what's going on, so they want to feed up. So they kind of get into a feeding frenzy, especially this time of year. And if you've got the right situation, shallow water, warm temperatures, you can have topwater blow-ups all day. And it is an amazing, amazing bite. Like I said, once that spook started doing work, I didn't take that topwater bait out of my hand for the rest of the day. And even as I was reluctantly bringing the boat to the bank to put it back on the truck, those bass were still busting up all over the place. So, you know, you've got to love it when you leave the water anticipating, waiting for your next chance to get back out. You know you've had a good day when it's like that. Whenever you come off of the water and you say, wow, that was a lot of fun. And today was really a lot of fun. So don't ever sleep on a spook or a wake bait or topwater in general in the wintertime, because it can be very, very productive given the right conditions. You know, shallow water warms up, and I'm telling you what, those bass will surprise you at how aggressive they can be, especially toward a topwater bait. So there you have it, a slow grind of a day that turned into a fishing bonanza once I started working that spook. The conditions were right, and they aligned themselves, so those fish were extremely active, and they were chasing bait today. And that happens in the fall more often than you think it does. So don't sleep on working topwater. Don't sleep on a wake bait, on a buzz bait, on a spook, or any type of moving topwater, because I'm telling you what, a lot of times when those bass are feeding up, waiting for that cold weather, a topwater can be an exceptionally effective way, and it certainly was for me today. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.